Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to today's video. Today we're doing a video dressage basics. Okay, I'm going to list all the moves that we're going to be going over in this video. So, nose to tail, NTT, nose to tail flat, NTT flat, overtail, OT, over saddle, OS, over rider, OR, set, pre, go, walk, trot, canter, curl, cut, split, die, wave, halt, rear, bow, quarter pivot, half pivot, and full pivot. It might sound like a handful and a lot to learn, but I promise it's not that bad. Okay, so starting off with our first move, we're going to be doing nose to tail. Nose to tail is putting your horse's nose to the person in front of you's tail. Alright, as you can see, horse's nose is to the tail in front of them. So that's what we should be seeing. And this is usually how clubs line up, and clubs will say NTT at the door or line up at the door. The next thing we'll be learning is NTT flat. So NTT flat is basically just lining up beside each other with a special name. Clubs will usually command this by saying NTT flat at middle. The next move that we'll be learning is overtail, over saddle, and over rider. Now this is for when you're lining up while you're walking, trotting, or cantering. These are very important things to keep in mind. As we've previously mentioned, there's NTT. It's different from overtail, over saddle, and over rider. Those are to do with screen delay, which we'll make another video about that and link it. For overtail, your horse's nose should be over the person in front of you's tail instead of to the tail. So if I just take Potato's place here and go like that, that would be OT. Now over saddle is where your horse's nose is over the person in front of you's saddle. And over rider is somewhat the same thing, but it's more closer, so it's more like that. Next, we'll be going over set, pre, and go. These are very important things that you will hear all the time in dressage. So set is get ready, we're doing this move, I've called the move, and just know, keep that in your mind, we're gonna do this move. Pre is I'm about to say go, so get ready. Go is do the move now. So I'll give an example, don't do anything. So let's say I say curl set means get ready to do a curl. I'm not saying go yet, but get ready. I usually say curl set twice so that people get in their mind that I'm saying curl set. So curl set. Pre means I'm about to say go, so get ready. And then I'll say go, which means do the move now. Trot set, pre, go. Make sure to fill in gaps. Curl set, curl left set, pre, go. Next, we'll be going over walk, trot, and canter. Now, this might seem obvious to a lot of people who ride English, but in Western riding, people call it different things. I forget what they're called, but this is the 3 gaits that you usually see in Star Stable Dressage. Now we can move on to more moves. I wouldn't consider these big moves. They're really easy to understand. So they are cut, split, die, wave, halt, rear, and curl. Okay. These might be a lot to take in, but they're really easy and you'll see them a lot. So the first one we'll be going over is curl. A curl is just doing a full circle on your horse. So if you could fill in the gaps here, NTT, and then we can demonstrate a curl. Next, we'll be going over cut. So a cut is just cutting away from the wall or cutting away from wherever. So I can say cut left at middle or something like that, but usually I use it at the wall. The next we'll be going over is die. Die is just like cut, but it is at a corner. So they're called different things, but they're basically the same thing, just in different places. Alright, next we'll be going over a wave. Now, a wave is, I'd say, more of a basic beginner move, which means it is between the two, so it's a little advanced for basics, but it's not advanced enough to be beginner, so it's kind of in the middle of those two. So a wave is doing a curl or any move in the opposite direction of the person in front of you. Now you might be thinking, what about the first person? Well, this is why we have odds and evens, also called ones and twos. This makes it easier for everyone to know what they're supposed to do during moves like wave, or other things. Wave can also be used for other moves, like a Reaper, which is an advanced move that we'll not be going over in this video. So it is just doing a certain move in the opposite direction, like I mentioned before. So I'll be giving odds and evens to the people here. Silver, you'll be odd. Potato, you'll be even. Hope, you'll be odd. So now that I've given them the odds and evens, tell them which way they're supposed to go. So odds will be going left and evens will be going right. A wave by itself is just doing a curl in the opposite direction, but it can also be used with other moves like I mentioned before, so don't get those two confused. The next move we'll be going over is called halt. Halt is really easy, it's basically just stopping your horse. Okay, next we'll be going over rear. So rear is just your horse rearing, just like that. Next we'll be going over a bow. So this is just something you see a lot. It's not really specific that it's dressage. It could be like laugh set, wave set, etc. But bow is something that you see quite often in dressage. It's basically just doing a bow. The next thing we'll be going over is pivots. Now, pivots is just turning your horse. So a quarter pivot would be a quarter of a circle, like fractions. And then a half pivot would be half of a circle, just like that. And then a full pivot around your horse, just a full turn, like that. Alright, now let's do it here, and when we're doing pivots, it's good to have horse spacing. Very good, very good. And there you go. There you have the basics of dressage.